Sandrone's hair just exposed that she might actually be a dude. Okay, at least that was one of the theories that's scarily becoming more and more real, to the point it's almost confirmed. Let me explain how this one obscure picture hidden away in a world quest spoiled Sandrone's true identity, and it has a massive plot twist. But not as massive as how Opera GX managed to save my computer and this video. For some reason, Genshin Wiki of all sites consistently breaks my PC. But when I used Opera GX as my browser, it solved that issue entirely. How, you might ask? Well, Opera GX has a ton of insane functions for a completely free-to-use browser. For starters, it has a customizable RAM, CPU, and network limiter that allowed me to cap the strain Genshin Wiki was putting on my computer, so I could actually access the site. Life-changing. It also has a ton of other features, from utility ones like a built-in VPN and ad blocker, or the nicest video pop-up feature so you can leave your favorite video playing in the background, to mods that allow you to change your wallpaper, sounds, or even cursors so your browser feels and looks just how you want it. And if you're thinking of swapping over but worried about losing all your bookmarks history and all that stuff, Opera GX allows you to seamlessly port your previous browser stuff over so you won't lose anything. So why not try out Opera GX now? It's completely free to use. It changed my life. I'm so happy they sponsored us, and I highly recommend it. Since 2023, players already began noticing an eerie similarity between this picture of a young girl and Sandrone from the Winter Night's Lazo trailer. Their hair color, eye color, and even hairstyle beared an uncanny resemblance. Maybe they were exaggerating. Maybe this was just a coincidence. Blonde hair, blue eyes isn't too uncommon, right? But when a clearer shot of Sandrone was released, the similarities only got worse. The strands on her fringe, the little curls on the sides of her head. Sandrone looks exactly like a grown-up version of this girl, but she can't be. This child's long been dead since 500 years ago. This child is Marianne. She was one of the side characters in one of Fontaine's major world quests that's really long, so I'll give you a massive TLDR. Marianne grew up in an orphanage with her brother Alain, Rene, and Jakob. They were taken care of by an oceanid called Lyris, who was the director of the orphanage. Remember her, she becomes very important later. After the cataclysm happened, she and Alain were adopted by Emmanuel. Eventually, she joined the Maréchal Phantom, Fontaine's detective force, and Alain built her a tiny robot dog, Seymour, to protect and assist her. This good boy also becomes really important later. Unfortunately, Marianne's fate was cut short. Marianne was sent to shut down a dangerous cult started by her old childhood friends Rene and Jakob. A massive battle broke out within the remains of Elena's. Marianne, Seymour, and her companions were fighting an intense battle until suddenly a large explosion occurred, killing almost everyone. Marianne's body was never found. Fun fact, this is the same explosion that created the Melazines, by the way. The shrapnel from destroyed Clockwork Mecha pierced Elena's body and eventually formed Melazines. So if Marianne has been dead for 500 years, how on earth could Sandrone possibly be related to her? There are 4 theories, and I think the second last one is pretty much confirmed. Theory 1, Sandrone is actually Marianne. This is by far the most boring theory. It goes like this. Maybe Marianne somehow survived through Elena's blood or some shit and got turned into a cyborg like Genji from Overwatch. Technically, Marianne was just listed as missing in action, so perhaps she's actually alive? Nope, I think that's highly unlikely, because the real Marianne is dead. Why? Remember the oceanid Lyris from earlier? Well, she somehow absorbed Marianne's consciousness, just oceanid things, forming a Marianne-Lyris hybrid. You might recognize her from the world quest. I highly doubt consciousness can be absorbed if you're not already dead, unless she has a duplicate consciousness or something. This Marianne hybrid is now exploring Tevat with Seymour the dog and another Anne they created through their dreams. Don't ask, just know there's technically 2 hybrid Mariannes out there. Also, Sandrone's personality doesn't match Marianne's at all, which leads us to theory 2, the most juicy one. Theory 2, Sandrone is actually Alain, Marianne's brother. Marianne's brother, Alain, was or is a mechanical genius. He literally founded the Fontaine Research Institute. Perhaps he created a robot in the likeness of his dead sister, and before he passed, to achieve immortality, he put his consciousness in the robot to become Sandrone today. Okay, I know that sounds crazy, but there are 2 huge pieces of evidence for this. One, it explains Sandrone's nasty personality. Don't get me wrong, I love the girl, but it would explain why she's the only harbinger who didn't close her eyes at Signora's funeral, or why she cut out a man's tongue and rendered him an unresponsive husk, all because he indirectly caused the destruction of a world-leading lie-detecting machine. Believe it or not, it matches Elaine's personality. According to Rene, Elaine wasn't the most amicable personality. Elaine only liked things he could figure out completely. Rene even compared him to a textbook villain who becomes a crazed serial killer just to figure out how the human body works. And that very much matches and would explain why Sandrone acts the way she does. Unless Marianne acted this way, which I highly doubt, judging from the Marianne hybrid, it doesn't make sense that Alain would program a robot commemorating his sister to be so harsh. Yes, I finally learned how to pronounce Alain. 2. Sandrone should technically be male. All Vitui harbinger names are from the Commedia dell'arte, type of 16th century Italian theater known for its stock characters: Tartaglia, Scaramouche, Columbina, Arlecchino, or Harlequin. This includes Sandrone, who's traditionally a man, with Pulonia as his wife. In fact, Sandrone's outfit seems to be a reference to what Pulonia's costume would traditionally look like. Long dress, white apron, bonnet. For every other harbinger, their gender aligns with that of their Commedia dell'arte counterpart, except Arlecchino, but she's literally called father. So why is Sandrone's the only one whose gender is flipped? Unless she was secretly a guy? Well, turns out this is very unlikely. Very minor spoilers, but at the end of Act 4 of Notcry's Archon Quest, Sandrone directly recounted knowing Alain in the past. Alain even tasked Sandrone with destroying all of his manuscripts once he was gone. According to Sandrone, he passed away in the ruins of their old orphanage. Okay, so we can mostly rule out the possibility that Alain is hiding in Sandrone, but this exchange 100% confirms Sandrone's relation to Marianne, which brings us to the most likely theory of all. Theory 3. Sandrone was a failed attempt at replacing Marianne. If you look closely, you can tell Alain likely made and viewed Sandrone as a Marianne replacement. Marionette means Little Mary in French. Not just that, he was likely the one who created Pulonia to assist Sandrone, just like he created Seymour to assist the OG Marianne. Pulonia is a customized Verne machine, and what do you know? Alain's primary research focus was Conrian machines. But does Sandrone know she's Marianne's replacement? Does she even have her memories? And what's with her personality? I think Sandrone probably knows she was meant to be replacement. When she recounts Alain, Rene, and Jacob's story, she lists the 3 kids on the photograph, but deliberately fails to mention Marianne. I wonder why. I think she's also unlikely to have Marianne's memories. She speaks of the events that transpired between Rene, Jacob, and Alain as if she only learned from it from Alain. As for her personality, it could be that she just took after her maker, Alain, but something tells me she's lost a lot. She's audibly upset when people leave her.
Who cares about how good the tea is when there's no one around to drink it? I keep losing people.
But then comes the last theory. Theory 4. Who or what is Pulonia? Believe it or not, Pulonia is a lot more sus than he seems. First of all, why does Pulonia follow the same naming conventions as all other Vitui harbingers? Being named after a stock character from the Commedia dell'arte? Is he the secret 10th Vitui harbinger we've never heard of, hiding in plain sight? Why is he entirely silent, unlike Seymour the talking dog? Secondly, Sandrone seems to be controlled by someone. Like, have you seen her constellation? Hers looks a lot like a helpless puppet being controlled. Not just that, but from this voice line, it sounds like there's something binding Sandrone to stay loyal to the Tsaritsa. Does she have an objective she's trying to achieve? Or is she being controlled? Do Alain and Pulonia have anything to do with this? It remains to be seen. They've been teasing Sandrone's backstory piece by piece for years now, and it finally feels like the payoff is coming. Are we cooking or are we burning? We'll see.